I kind of begrudgingly respect just the dedication to not getting better at what you do for a living. Just coast through life.
It probably shouldn't even happen.
If you got it, you got to flaunt it, Acid.
You know what? I got a lot of stuff that I don't want to flaunt, so I just keep it to myself.
Jeremy is really big into the used mattresses. Excellent deal.
He has a used mattress store on the side. And we found out that Anthony's friends are all 13-year-old boys.
Whoever wins gets Acid's ball soap.
Clay, how you doing?
Doing a little more poorly after that terrible, terrible introduction. I was just fine, to be honest with you.
Hello, Sci Fi Gangsters. This is the show where we talk about science fiction, comic books, and video games, but really it's just an excuse for me to catch up with my friends, old and new. I'm Anthony Denard, media scholar and person who often gets confused what our topic is week to week. We had some conversations off air, getting a little bit confused. Today's topic, we settled it. Today's topic is worst comic book characters, right? Some people here think that we were supposed to do worst MCU characters. Some say Marvel. I was probably wrong, but it's okay. We went with comic book characters. That is our topic for today. Once again, I'm Anthony Denard. We got a great panel. Of course, we have our usual people, Acidtrain, Twitch streamer. We have Jeremy, a good friend of mine, and of today's guest, returning. I said that very loud. Returning, Tony Henderson. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. You're just excited.
I am very, very excited
about my return.
Now, last time we had you on, I was having a lot of technical difficulties with my camera and such, but since then, we seem to have fixed that problem. Now I just jinxed myself. We're gonna be having all kinds of issues. But yeah, last time we had you on. Now, but I'm excited to have you back.
Now you're just working on figuring out the topics. Like you got the camera, you got the technical stuff.
Right now I'm just very confused what we're talking about from week to week. Right, I'm confused in my life in general. But good to have you on the show, Tony. I know many of us are excited about Dragon Con coming up. Why am I talking about Dragon Con? I don't know why I brought that up, but it's coming up relatively soon. No, September. We still have several months, but we're all talking about how Dragon Con because
under 100 days. So now it's getting close. We're
getting close to Dragon Con. Obviously, for many of us who live close to Atlanta, Dragon Con becomes part of our yearly tradition where we travel to our Mecca, right? And we enjoy a great con experience. But once again, today's topic is worst comic book characters. But the thing we do on this show is we catch up first, right? You can listen to us on Spotify. You can listen to us on YouTube, whatever you like. If you don't want to see our faces and you'd rather listen to us in podcast form, you can always do that on Spotify and Apple and all that kind of stuff. So definitely take that up if you want to do that. But once again, we catch up, and I'll go ahead and begin. Tony, you may not be familiar with this. I bring it up all the time, probably to Jeremy's annoyance, as he's shaking his head. I will be teaching adapting literature to film from comics to the screen at Georgia State next semester. I'm pretty excited about it. So one thing that I'm doing is I'm preparing my syllabus. So I'm deciding what comic books I want my students to read, what films I want them to read or watch, right? And we'll talk about adaptation, that sort of thing. So I got Comixology just to kind of test it out to see if I want to require my students to get it. I think it's the best way to do it, right? So instead of asking them to buy individual comics, Comixology seems to be the best bet. Just have them require them to get Comixology, and then they can read comics. Rather than giving them to buy a book, this seems like it's a pretty good alternative there. So I've been reading.
How much is Comixology?
So I know if you have Amazon Prime, it should be free, right? I haven't been charged for it yet. So, and I do have Amazon Prime. Now you have to connect it to your Amazon Prime account, but it still asks for your credit card information, which I'm worried about.
Sure, it wasn't just a free trial.
No, I think it's so. I think you get. I actually looked it up. I Googled it. Do you get Comixology unlimited for free if you have Amazon Prime? And it said yes, right? So it could be the free trial. I don't know. We'll see when I get charged, or if I get charged. But I'm already enjoying Comixology. I must admit, I'm somebody who is sort of resistant to the idea of reading comic books digitally. Like it just doesn't feel like it's the same thing to me, right? Being able to hold the comics, but I was kind of enjoying it. I think it had a lot to do with the fact that I had an iPad. Like if I was looking on my phone or my computer, I don't think it would have the same feel, but actually having it on an iPad seems like it's closer to like the comic, and then you could kind of zoom in, which is kind of nice, right? So when I'm reading, like if it's like a long panel here, I can kind of zoom in so I can read, because I'm getting older and I need to be able to zoom in on the text. So I've been reading Old Man Logan, right? That's just the first thing that came to mind. I was like, I'll read Old Man Logan, and it's good. It's a lot different than Logan, because obviously that's kind of the one thing that I'm thinking about right now as I'm preparing my syllabus is, I want to pick a comic and then pick the movie that's based on, and we could talk about the differences and everything. And Old Man Logan is very different from the film in a lot of ways. Old Man Logan is also very disturbing in a lot of ways as well, particularly when it comes to the Hulk clan, because they're all cannibals for some reason. I don't understand why they're cannibals, but the Hulk. So the Hulk goes crazy, right? And then he has a bunch of kids, and they sort of form a clan, and all his clan are a bunch of like mini Hulks that just eat people, right? And so Logan, at one point, I don't know if this is a spoiler. Should I even bring this up? Is this a spoiler by saying that Logan actually gets eaten by the Hulk? So like the Hulk eats him, and then of course Wolverine regenerates, and he like bursts out of his stomach and kills the Hulk. It's actually kind of
yeah, that wasn't in the movie.
That was not in the movie.
But I did hear rumor that they're gonna have a Hulk kid in She-Hulk. You guys may have talked about it already, but they're like, "Oh, it's gonna be a Hulk kid." I was like, "What? I didn't even know there were Hulk kids. I didn't know that was a thing."
Yeah, the only Hulk kid that I can think of was from Old Man Logan. Like all his little disturbing, disgusting little children. Jeremy had a reaction to that. I'm not sure. I'm getting confused by Jeremy's reactions.
Awful judgy with the disgusting children.
They eat people. Is that?
That's fair. That is a little gross.
Cultural differences, man.
No. Wait, hold on.
Cultural differences. Oh, that's cool if they eat people.
Clearly, these Hulks are depicted to be gruesome characters. Like they're supposed to be villains. Right?
Yeah, but they're children, right? They grew up in the society. You can't judge children.
Really?
I think you can.
Oh.
Maybe not. All right. So, anyways, I've been reading Logan, and I'm enjoying it. It's kind of a beautiful comic too, in a lot of ways. Besides all the grotesque imagery and stuff
Children
like that.
eating. Besides that.
Yeah. So I'm enjoying that. So that's my what I've been doing. We'll go ahead and move on to Ass. So what's new with you?
Oh my gosh. So I got two things that I want to bring to the table. All right. First thing is actually happened tonight. We made sushi for the first time. We've been pondering this for a couple of weeks now, and we finally just said, you know what? Let's just go to World Market, get a sushi kit, and then we actually created our own sushi. So we did, of course, California roll, just to make something simple, that the kids would eat. We got that crab, got a crab roll, crab with a K, of course, because that's the only way to get it in the sticks. We actually attempted, and if I do say so myself, succeeded, Jeremy, in the burgushi roll that Cowfish had. It was quite tasty. I know I sent some photos to you guys. And then we did an everything bagel roll, which was very good. And then a spicy salmon roll, which was fantastic. There's still so much sushi in the kitchen. Like we ate and didn't even dent it at all. So then there's that. So we had fun with that today. And then in Hearthstone news, after 7 years, everyone, I have finally ranked as high as I could and have surpassed legend rank this month. So it only took me 7 years to get there, but we did it.
Be applauding this?
You should. You should. It took me 7 years to do this, but I finally did it, and it was a proud moment the other day. I didn't stream it. I didn't record it, just because I was afraid I was going to jinx it, because I got to like the final rank. Like I was Diamond 1 with only one win to go, and then I was like, you know what? Shut down production. I'm just going to do this mano a mano and I did it.
So how does that work?
I
Is
ran
it
victorious. So
like, do
every
you-
month, all rankings reset. So it goes from, you have bronze ranking now, within each ranking are 10 levels. Each level has 3 stars. So you have to win 3 games to progress. So like bronze 10, bronze 9, bronze 8, so on and so forth. All the way up. So you got bronze, then you have gold, then you have platinum, then you have diamond, and then you have legend, which once you hit legend, then you are just a number. So I think I was top 1,000 legend, which is basically top 1,000 in that particular category in North America. And so I spent, of course, if you end a season, so like since now I'll be ending legend, I'll get bonus stars at the beginning. So it won't take that long to rank back up. But yeah, it was quite a journey. It was quite a journey. But
so has it lost some of its magic now? that you
no,
peaked?
no. I don't care if I lose, because now it doesn't matter, because I'm not one of the guys. Because if you hit top 100 legend, every month they start inviting you to like tournaments and like, come on in and we'll pay you to play in our tournament, that kind of stuff. But I don't care about all that stuff. There's no way I can compete with those guys. But I've made it. I cannot go. I got the card back. I got the special customized card back that you get for hitting legend. I got some goodies for that, so that's pretty exciting.
If you keep going, maybe you'll get to regionals, and if you get past regionals, you'll get to sectionals, and then if you get past that, regional sectionals.
Regional
right?
sectionals, that's right. They do have a Masters tournament. I mean, that always goes on that people get
Like
invited
a
to.
green jacket.
You get let's see, I think one year it was like this. It was this trophy it was a gold base, and the trophy itself was like this whirlwind vortex of water. It was really cool looking with the Hearthstone symbol in the middle of it. So yeah, I don't know. For me, it was a big deal. I know people hit legend all the time, but it took me this long. So me and the stream gang, we had a good time after I posted everything on Twitter and Discord and all that stuff. So it was good times.
Well, congratulations, Acid. I know you've been working on this for a very hard time. This has been a journey.
It has been a journey.
Then you finally achieved your dreams.
Yeah, the dreams have been made. I can die a happy man now, right? And that works.
All right, excellent. Jeremy, what's new with you?
So since I'm told I can't talk about Loki,
Yeah, you can't talk about Loki. That has been established. So I have not seen the show yet.
Well, who has seen it?
I've seen it.
I have not seen it.
And okay, I was gonna say we could outvote him.
Wait, hold on. Can't outvote the host. What's going on here?
Yes.
All right.
I don't care about spoilers. I probably won't watch it, at least not anytime soon. So
No, I mean, eventually we're gonna have to talk about it. But Jeremy,
once it becomes a topic, then I'll have to watch it.
So I did play Injustice 2.
Really?
So I'll say, yeah, DC, good comics, good video games, terrible movies. Yeah, it was a fun game. I mean,
What did you think about the storyline?
I mean, I thought it was fine for that type of game.
Wasn't it decent for a video game? At least for a fighting video game like that?
Yeah, I mean, now I have no real point of reference as far as what they've done with other fighting type games.
Yeah,
like
no, I
Mortal
just mean
Kombat
like
or
just
what.
in general as like putting that story into that type of game. Like I thought they did good.
Yeah. I mean, like that is kind of what they do in Mortal Kombat stuff now, right? And
Yeah.
That's, but yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. Like it hits all the buttons, and you get some nice deep cuts on various characters and whatnot. So it's worth playing. But yeah, they do video games and comics much better than their movies.
Now, Jeremy, I wouldn't think of you as like a fighting gaming person, right?
No, I wouldn't
have. A lot of fighting games.
I would not have played it if it weren't a comic book game.
Now, did you have a hard time like learning how like the fighting style and that sort of thing? Was it complicated? I've never played the game.
No, I mean I grew up playing arcade games, so it comes back quickly. I generally don't have much interest in that kind of thing anymore. Um, but since there was a story involved, I played it. Yeah, I mean, it's just jumping and hitting buttons.
It's like
All
riding a
right.
bike.
Okay. Don't give me the attitude, Jeremy. Don't. We're not doing this today, right? I asked you a question, and you're throwing it.
So are you on controller? Or do you actually have a fight stick that you use?
No, I use a controller.
All right. Very good. Well, there you go. Jeremy is playing fighting video games, right? Acid is reached legendary mode in Hearthstone, right? Tony, what's new with you?
I also reached legendary. No, I'm kidding.
That would be funny. That would have been hilarious.
I've been playing for like 2 months and reached legendary. No,
Yeah, I've already reached legend like 10 times. Where you been? Yeah.
I saw you when you got there. Welcome aboard. No, none of that happened. That's a lie.
Oh, God.
Well, I watched Loki, of course. If you guys want to chat about, okay, maybe not. And I had been watching. Actually, I burned through Sweet Tooth. It's on Netflix. The preview, like the image and the description looked really weird. I was like, this doesn't look interesting. But a lot of people online, all my friends really liked it. And then I found out it was based on a comic, maybe DC or one of those offshoot. You guys will have to help me with that. I don't know who published originally, but it was really good. It was interesting. And once I started, I got into it. Like I probably watched it through the course of a couple days, and just finished it last night. That's what I ended up doing. I was like, I'll just sit and watch it till it's done. Obviously, I won't spoil it, but there's based on a comic book. There's way more to the story than one season, and so there's more happening. But it's definitely a fun watch, interesting watch, and probably something. Double check, but I think it's probably something you could easily watch with the family. There was no language, no violence. Some of the topics may be a little heavy, like it's a post-apocalyptic world after a virus that hit a little close to home, and this was written some time ago, so it wasn't COVID, but I'll be darned if it didn't feel just like COVID. But
it's a comic book based on a dystopian future.
Yeah, with hybrid animal kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so hybrid animal kids, I was like, I don't know, that seems weird, but it makes perfect sense in the story once you get to watching it, and what the issue is and what the challenges are. So yeah, highly recommend.
Do you think would you go back and read the comic, because the comic is on Comixology? Would you
normally I don't, but funny enough, as we were chatting pre-show, and you mentioned, well, maybe it was during the show, I can't keep up. Comixology, it sounded appealing, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll, as you were talking about it, check out some of these comics. So I definitely would want to read about it. My only concern would be spoiling the next season of the show, so I gotta pick my allegiance. But I would recommend it, comic or show.
And that's one thing that's keeping me from reading Snowpiercer, because I don't want to ruin the next potential season for Snowpiercer either. It's also Snowpiercer is not on Comixology, which is kind of surprising. You can only buy it on Amazon or online or whatever. So, but yeah, I'm definitely interested in reading all these comics. Excellent. Tony, we didn't promote your podcast. Remind me of your podcast one more time. I should.
That's all right. No, it's still early. It's Tony P Oddcast. It's weird and wacky news. I took a little break. I took a winter hiatus, as I called it. It's just a break, and didn't go for about 3 months. But I'm back in a new format. It's little short snippets, but it's daily. And there's a new wacky news segment every day. Wherever you listen to this show, you can find mine.
Nice.
All right. Excellent. Great. So let's go ahead and get to our topic. So today's topic, once again, there was a little bit of confusion, mostly on my end, but I'm the host, and we don't bring it up when I make mistakes, or we just do it all the time. We just bring it up all the time, right? Is that what you guys are doing? That was
all
fake.
I know is I got a message, and it asked me for a specific list. I trusted you. As the host, I trusted you.
I'm constantly letting people down. All right, so today's topic is worst comic book characters. We each pick 3. We'll take our turns going 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, working our way down. So I'll go ahead and start off. Once again, apparently some of you thought that today's topic was worst Marvel characters, but I went with worst comic book characters. So I'm going with my non-Marvel character right off the bat, and that is arguably the first comic book character in a series from the 1800s, so 1895. This is the Yellow Kid, right? So this is my first worst comic book character, is the Yellow Kid. He's a character in the comic series Hogan's Alley, one of the very first comic strips in newspapers, right? And if you're not familiar with the Yellow Kid, if you're not a comics historian, then he is basically Dennis the Menace, right? Mm-hmm. He goes into urban environments. He deals with a lot of racist caricatures of people. And he
being called the Yellow Kid.
That's the thing. The interesting thing about the Yellow Kid, obviously, when you hear Yellow Kid, the first thing you think of is yikes. But there have been some who say that he was supposed to represent an Asian character, but it's inconsistent if he actually was meant to represent an Asian character. That's still sort of kind of shaky on whether he did or not. He's a bald kid wearing a yellow shirt. So obviously some people will say he's just called the Yellow Kid because he's wearing a yellow shirt. But obviously race is a big element to the popularity of this character because he gets into urban environments. He picks fights with people. It's supposed to represent sort of like the chaotic, like immigrant, like urban environments and that sort of thing. So kind of relies on a lot of racist stereotypes for humor. And he uses I don't want to say broken English because it's not even English a lot of times. It's just weird language. And a fun fact, the Yellow Kid often put words in. He used to carry a balloon, and he had words in the balloon, and that's where word balloons came from. So in the comic strip, whenever you see a word balloon, many people contribute it to the Yellow Kid because whenever he had things that words on it, he would actually hold a balloon and had the words on the balloon. So a little fun fact for the comic fans out there. But yeah, so that's my number 1 is the Yellow Kid. Just a little punk who was always picking fights and doing mean things from 1895. There you go. That's my number 1. So we'll go ahead and get to Acid. What's your worst comic book character?
I went with comic book characters that, obviously I don't know all the comic book characters, but so I went with the 3 of them, which I was familiar with, all of which were in the X-Men universe. There's really no order here, so I'll just start with one I'm probably going to get some hate on, and that's Rogue. I'm not a huge Rogue fan, and I'm going basically off of weakness. Okay, Rogue can be easily just taken care of, which in fact she was. She was, killed by Wolverine by mistake. So it was terrible. So take a grenade, blow her up. It's just terrible. She can't defend herself very well. As far as her powers themselves go, are pretty substantial if she can get within touching range of you. But other than that, it's just not. She's got nothing. She's got nothing she brings to the table. As far as don't touch me. Let me take my glove off real quick and poke you in the face.
We're talking Rogue pre Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Powers.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
You're talking X-Men, the film universe, Rogue.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mention that before.
Yeah, because the
comic book character Rogue is a monster.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, that was my mistake. But it just by seeing that, that's not impressive to me, at all. And I think they could have brought that over from. I don't know why they don't do that. That doesn't make any sense to me. How they would take the comic book character to the movie universe, and they're not equal as far as what they can do, what storyline they have portrayed in the comic. I just don't understand.
Yeah, this was early. Like this was when the comic book boom first began. This is before the comic book boom, right? So during this time period, and many people have written about this, was where the Hollywood studios and the industry was very uneasy with creating movies based on comic book characters. Like there was this weird tension where they wanted the intellectual property because they wanted the fans to watch the shows, but they were very uncomfortable with sort of like what was perceived to be cheesiness of the comic book universe.
Okay.
So there was you can see it in the first Spider-Man, you can see it in the first X-Men films, where they're trying to ground the characters in reality to the point where they just completely change the characters altogether because they're so uncomfortable. I mean, look at the black leather suits. Like they were so, and they even made the joke in the first X-Men, what do you want us to wear? Yellow spandex?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
exactly
we
what
do.
we want you to wear. Yeah.
Yes, we do. That's what we want you to do.
That's what we want you to do. Yep.
But
yeah.
yeah, so I think I think we all agree with you that Rogue was relatively lame.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still the intriguing aspect of she can take on their powers temporarily.
But you have to get within. I mean, there's no way she's taking Cyclops' power. You know, I mean, he just. I mean, from 100 yards away, she's toast. You know, I mean, no issues. I mean, she'd have to be a stealth ninja. You know, like
I think she works better on a team, though. It's like
I'm coming up on you. You know,
like if you're with a team, then you get like a
Sure.
your pick of a double. You know,
sure, but by herself,
Just ride Colossus
she's
back.
dead. Yeah, if she ain't got anybody else, she's done.
All right, excellent. All right, so Jeremy, we'll get to you. What's your worst comic book character?
So I limited myself to the MCU just because of the vastness of the Marvel universe in general. And so my third character, I mean, it's not the worst. It's just a liability on the team, and that is Black Widow. So she has no real power. She's just a human, but she's also a melee fighter. So she's very squishy, and she fights close range. So she's a liability in the sense that other people are going to have to stop, realistically, other people are going to have to stop what they're doing just to protect her and keep her from being killed.
I think you
Yeah.
upset Acid. I think he's a.
He's
Black
just
Widow
so
fan.
angry. He just had to leave. He's just.
I'm not listening to this. I'm out.
I will say this about the MCU. The MCU is very inconsistent with how strong each character is at different points. I'll give you an example. So Captain America could fight Thanos, but he still has to spend a little bit of time fighting the leaping guy in the Winter Soldier. What's his name? The martial arts guy? The MMA fighter guy? Like he's going toe to toe with this dude. Like if he could fight, if he's having a hard time fighting this guy, wouldn't Thanos just like destroy him with one punch? Like even if you blocked it with the shield, I guess you could say the shield completely deflects any sort of energy. But still, I mean, you're still holding the shield, right? But,
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, like I get that a little more because it is later on in the series, so his, you know, even though his powers don't change really, they shouldn't. You know, you can say he's farther along as a hero. Yeah, Black Widow just stays a liability the entire time.
all right, excellent.
I mean,
Black
she'd be perfectly fine, like what she was doing in the beginning of the first Avengers, right? She's in espionage and a spy, and she's extracting information and whatnot. Like that should be her role, not on the front lines fighting beside a god.
All right, excellent. So Jeremy's summary is Black Widow, stay in the kitchen. I think that's what Jeremy is saying.
Black Widow, stay in. Make her sushi. Just do it.
I'm just kidding, Jeremy. All right, Tony, what's your worst comic book character?
Well, probably my least favorite, and especially in MCU. I'll just go with them now because it ties in well with Jeremy's pick of Black Widow, and that's Hawkeye.
Okay.
Get out of here. Even in the first movie, I was so excited for the first Avengers movie. And you're like, what is he doing? Why is he even here? You know, like, I think he killed maybe two, whatever the monsters were that came from, like, I think he got two of them, you know, maybe because he shot him with a missile or something. I just don't know why he's there, what he's doing. Whenever he's on screen, like now just going to the movie adaptation, when he's on screen, I don't care. I
I don't think Jeremy Renner cared either. I think that came through the character.
And it's nothing against Renner. It's just, oh man, what's going to happen here? He's going to shoot spoiler alert. He's going to shoot an arrow. That's what he does. That's all he does. Maybe there's a cool air, like someone gives him a, special arrow that has some mechanics or something too. But anyone, Iron Man could have done, like, there's nothing that Hawkeye has that no one else couldn't have just done. It's like it's like somebody's little brother, and like, let him help. And so they give him some arrows and they let him shoot. Good job, Hawkeye. And he's really excited.
That's awesome.
And then that's it.
I will say the only reason I chose Black Widow over Hawkeye is because Hawkeye can at least fight from a distance.
You're right. Yeah.
That does bring up a good point, though, Tony, when you're saying that. So Iron Man has made a suit for him, for War Machine, for Spider-Man. He's made a suit for even Bruce Banner when he couldn't turn into the Hulk. You can't make something for Hawkeye?
That's a good point. I never thought of that. Help the guy out. He's he is who he is. And so I don't blame it on him. But that's a good point. They should come up with something. Now I've heard in the comic, there's more depth to him, and in the universe they have him in the comic, it fits. But just throwing him in this Avengers universe again, fighting gods and aliens and stuff, I think he's a little out of his league.
He's more of a street level, like a Daredevil kind of fighter.
Yes. With arrows.
With arrows. All right, excellent. All right, there we go. That's our first level of the worst comic book characters. We'll go ahead and get to our second one. And my number 2 is Bucky. 1940s comic book Bucky.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
This is the hipster review version.
If you're not familiar, so in the 1940s, when Captain America first came out, he had a sidekick, and it was Bucky. And it was basically a Robin, like would-be kind of a character, right? So he was just basically a sidekick. He would often get in trouble. So he would often get captured, and Captain America would have to rescue him. Sometimes Bucky was punching people, but he's this little scrawny kid who was just saluting Captain America all the time. I'm like, get out of here. What are you? This is a completely useless character. Obviously, he becomes a lot more cooler later on when he becomes a super soldier himself, and in the MCU.
When puberty hits, is that what you're saying?
When puberty hits, he's a little scrawny character that's just kind of there to be captured and to say, "Good way to go, Captain America! You really punched Hitler really good." Right. So I would say that's my number 2. Is another hipster answer, according to Jeremy, is a 1940s Bucky.
Nice.
All right, Acid, what's your number 2?
Okay, again, staying with my X-Men theme, but that I limited myself to. So after Rogue, I'm going to actually go with a villain in the X-Men universe, and that's Sabretooth. Sabretooth, I mean, growing up, I watched a lot of X-Men, and collected figurines and that kind of stuff. Sabretooth was never one that I really wanted to go with. He's just the weaker version, or a very weaker version of Wolverine without because he still has regeneration. He still has the super strength. He has a lot of the things that Wolverine has, minus all the amazingness that Wolverine has.
So Acid, as you can see by the 2 shaking heads, Sabretooth actually beats Wolverine a lot in the comics.
But I'm just coming from my view here.
Okay, so you're coming.
Yeah, I mean that's all well and good and everything, and especially movie Sabretooth. Sabretooth was
terrible.
It was awful. He was so. I mean,
which movie Sabretooth?
The first X-Men movie, or was it the first one? He was with Magneto. Was that the Magneto one? Okay, so yeah, he's. Oh my gosh, I felt like he was just that. Okay, they did not do him any justice in that movie at all. He looked stupid. He didn't say anything. He was just, oh, okay, guys, let me go hit the little things now. I mean, that was his role in that movie. Granted, comic book Sabretooth was better than that, but I don't know. He's just not one. Comic book Sabretooth. He is just not one that really impressed me. When I pick between him and Wolverine, I'm more of a Wolverine fan just because, growing up, Wolverine was, like, let's go, baby, let's do this. But
The comic where Wolverine pops the claw through his head is one of my favorite issues. Of
I
all
think I
time.
have that actually.
Yeah, I've read it 30 times probably.
But yeah, Sabretooth. Again, none of these are really in any order. These are just kind of three that kind of popped in my head while I was thinking about these. I don't
What's
know.
everybody's
They
opinion?
could have done better with him, I think, as far as the character goes.
I think we all agree with it in terms of the film versions. Most
Yeah,
certainly.
the film version was the absolute worst version of Sabretooth.
He reminded me of Beastman from Masters of the Universe, the movie.
Yeah.
What is everybody's opinion on X-Men Origins Sabretooth? Everybody like that Sabretooth?
Better.
But better, not the best.
All right, excellent. There you go. So Sabretooth is Acid's number 2. Jeremy, what's your number 2?
So my number 2 is moving from liability to unnecessary, and that is War Machine. So, Tony Stark has the suits. He has AI flying the other suits. You could argue, why does Tony Hawk even need to be in a suit since he has AI to control it?
So you misspoke, and I normally wouldn't.
I know, I heard it too.
But,
Yeah,
but
I think
the only reason I'm saying that is because how awesome would that have been? You misspoke and said Tony Hawk, and I'm like, what? How awesome!
Did I?
You did.
Yeah, you said Tony Hawk.
I
yeah.
was just
But- and
going with
again-
it. I was like, yes.
And
that'd be
again, I don't
awesome.
mean to call it out. I just think that'd be awesome. Like, oh, hell,
Maybe I was thinking
with
Hawkeye.
Tony Hawk
Maybe.
in with some super armor.
Man, that's a game I'd play. Yeah.
You could play as Jango Fett in some of the Tony Hawk games.
Can you? That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like I like the character of Rhodes. Okay. I do hate how he acquires the suit. I thought that was supremely terrible thing to do. And if I had been Tony Stark, we would not have a friendship after that. But
Yeah, but Tony was being. I'm talking about Tony Stark, not Tony Hawk. Tony.
T-Dog,
Tony was kind of
as he
being
likes to
being a jerk, though, right? Didn't he kind of deserve to get the suit taken away from him?
I mean, he was being a jerk, but does being a jerk give someone the right to come into your house and steal your property? I mean,
Gives him the motive. Being the jerk.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he basically just came in and stole someone's intellectual property.
All right, well, there you go. I do agree that the character of War Machine needs something extra. Like it needs something additional to make him distinct from Tony Stark. Like there needs to be, whether it's a TV show or a part in the film where he actually. I remember one YouTuber brought up an idea. He pitched an idea for a film where Rhodes loses the War Machine armor. So he's, obviously he's paralyzed, and he gets put in a location, sort of like a Die Hard situation, where he needs to get out, right? So he's paralyzed, but he needs to sort of get out of a bad situation. That would be kind of cool to kind of show his ingenuity and that sort of thing. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only saving grace for the character is that Don Cheadle is so charming and plays a likable person.
All right, excellent.
You're not wrong, because I never liked the guy that played him first,
Terrence Howard.
Yeah, and I was excited about the idea of War Machine, but like Terrence Howard didn't sell me. I was like, whatever.
Either Robert Downey Jr. didn't like him either. Forced him out.
I thought he wanted more money. Isn't that? I thought that's.
Yeah,
why
I think it was
left.
he wanted the same amount as Downey or something like that.
Yeah, I heard a lot of rumblings, a lot of rumors that Robert Downey was kind of pushed him out, like was saying, was kind of influencing.
Yeah, I mean, but like Terrence Howard was coming off Hustle and Flow, like by all estimation, his career was shooting up, and then that happened.
Well, there you go. All right, Tony, what's your number 2?
Let's see here. I'll go with my boy MODOK. Now, MODOK, I didn't read a lot of his comics. MODOK was always one of those characters I just saw around, like, oh, that's MODOK. And just by seeing him around, I thought he was pretty goofy. and now I just was never interested in him. I did watch the show, which probably didn't help his cause. I thought maybe it would sell me on MODOK, but in the show, he's a bit of a loser. He's divorcing his wife, and he's getting outworked at his job. So it just kind of reiterated what I thought, that he's a bit pathetic. So I'd love to hear that those that maybe know about him in the comic. I hear he's powerful, sure, but he just seems kind of sad to me.
Yeah, I don't know much about MODOK. Besides the fact that he's a giant floating head, like I really don't know much about him. But what do you think of the show? Do you enjoy the show?
It was okay. I guess that's it. I guess that's my response. If I have to think about it too much, it was okay. I watched the whole thing. I wouldn't rush to watch it or anything. And I'm also skeptical that there'll even be a season 2. I don't think it did very well. So
that's Tony Henderson's review. Don't rush to go see it
because it's MODOK and nobody cares about MODOK.
They tried too hard.
Yeah.
All right, very good. All right, we're getting down to our number ones here. Are you guys ready for the most hipster answer so far?
Oh, here we go.
It's going to be like the purple Smurf man, second guy who's ever been created.
From
my worst comic book character, and this one kind of applies for both the comic book and the MCU version of this character.
Okay.
And that is Sharon Carter. Sharon Carter, to me, is the most uninteresting character in the MCU. She's this like half Black Widow wannabe, half like love interest in the films for a while. They try to make her a little bit more interesting in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where they're trying to make her a little bit more like, I guess, potentially a villain, right? Which are we interested in that? Like, if she's the main villain in the next, like if they do another season, if she's the main villain, is that something that we're excited about? I don't know. Not really. So Sharon Carter, in a lot of ways, I will say in the show, in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, she was a little more interesting, right? Because she wasn't doing all like the flips and stuff like that Black Widow does, and it's kind of like the gymnastics thing where you're just like, okay. But she was kind of she was a little more like brutal with her combat, which was a little bit more interesting. But for the most part, really wasn't interested in her character. And in the comic book, actually, Sharon Carter isn't very interesting either. During the 60s and 70s, she's sort of like this feminist-like character where she's independent, she's a spy, and she's an empowering character. And then she just marries Captain America, and then she wants to be a wife. So it's like it's kind of a missed opportunity there when it comes to Sharon Carter in the comics as well. But yeah, that's my number one.
Are we going to talk about how in the movie Captain America made out with his assumedly granddaughter?
and the most unromantic kiss in cinematic history. Yeah.
To that point, whenever Sharon Carter's on, it just reminds me that I miss Peggy. I'm like, man, it'd be cool if she was Peggy Carter. No, instead we get Sharon. And to answer your question, if she's the next big bad, I'm not interested. I'm just never interested in what she has going on.
All right, I agree with you 100%. All right, Acid, what's your number one?
All right, my number one. Before I say my number one, I want to pose a question to the group, probably one at a time, just because I'm curious.
I thought you were going to do a live read.
Live read.
I go to one, this episode is brought to you by Squarespace.
Yeah. By Manscaped. No.
Manscaped, yeah.
I guess I do need to do my ball soap review very soon, huh? But anyway, so, okay. As far as intelligence goes, because, I don't know too much about comparing these two characters side by side. Hank McCoy, as the Beast, of course, and the Hulk. As far as IQ is concerned, where would you put them? Who's superior over who? As far as
IQ. Hank McCoy
is superior.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then Bruce Banner? We talking about comic version? Or are we talking about in film version?
I'm talking comic version.
Okay. So comic. So what would you say with film version then?
No, film version's definitely Bruce.
Okay. Would everybody else agree with that?
I would say they're on par. Maybe not Bruce Banner. Maybe Bruce Banner is maybe Hank McCoy is kind of up there, right? I'm okay with that.
I mean, I put Mr. Fantastic is above Hank, but
they gave in the movies they gave Bruce Banner that like last minute bump up where he's doing all this crazy stuff. Like before then, he wasn't demonstrating all that much smarts. And then in the movies, Beast I feel like doesn't get to demonstrate that all that much. Comics I would go Beast. Movies I'll have to say Hulk.
Okay.
Isn't Beast part of the Illuminati in the comics? Because the Illuminati it's Professor X, Beast, Mr. Fantastic, Black Bolt. There's more. I'm Go ahead. Keep going, Acid.
But yeah, no, I was just curious about that. So IQ aside, I'm actually went film universe in this one. The Beast was one of mine because, again, they just don't do them justice. They could do so much. It aggravates the garbage out of me that, as amazing as some of these characters are in comic books, they make them as lame as they possibly can when they put them on the screen. And I go back to, I don't understand. And, everybody loves Kelsey Grammer, right? I mean, he's a phenomenal actor. I have nothing against Kelsey Grammer at all. It could have gone so much better in those films. Did
you prefer
aggravates me.
The kid?
What's that?
Did you prefer the First Class
Second
and
Beast
whatnot guy?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. When you're comparing, yeah, I guess so. It still could have. I mean, comic wise. I mean, when you're throwing what should have been on the screen to what was on the screen, you can't even compare it. But yeah, so that's my number one. Just more out of a disappointment as what it should have been, but what it turned out to be.
Yeah, the X-Men universe, the X-Men film universe is, you can accuse of them almost of every character.
Just about all of them, yeah.
Maybe you can make the argument that Magneto was done well. You can make the argument.
I wasn't mad with the Magneto character. I mean,
Professor X is done well. You can make the argument Wolverine's done well.
Yep.
Because they just focus on Wolverine.
I thought Storm was done okay. I mean, it could have been better, but she wasn't terrible. I wasn't mad at her. But like the Rogue character, Sabretooth, you go all through all that kind of stuff. But yeah, And
of course, it depends on which ones we're talking about.
Well, that's true.
The young crew or the old crew, and it's all just it's kind of. But yeah, I agree with that.
That was my 3.
All right, Jeremy, what's your last one?
My last one's Captain America.
Oh no!
Oh god!
Wow.
Oh man, there it is.
I mean, imagine the arrogance that someone has to have to think they are right versus the democratically elected governments of the world, and still be so self-deluded that you think you're protecting them. It's mind-boggling.
He represents the American.
Okay. I was gonna say, is that not the essence of Captain America or America?
No, I mean, well, that's what I'm saying. Captain America, he's just a bad person.
He's trying to protect Bucky, Jeremy.
But again, the cowardice of hiding the fact that your friend murdered your other friend's parents, right? It's not protection. You could have diffused this situation if you approached it, responsibly.
Sure.
So how do we know that Captain America knew that Bucky killed?
He wasn't surprised at all when Tony found out.
I just never understood that. How would Captain America know? Would Shield tell him? Like, how would Captain America, would Bucky would have whispered to him before, like, hey, it's good to see you. It's been a while. I killed Captain America's parents. Like, when, at what point did Captain America, that's just one thing that's kind of confusing me. When
Yeah,
would he,
I mean, but it like, isn't that the assumption of why he couldn't pick up the hammer before? Because he had this guilt weighing on him.
yeah, I mean, if obviously the Russo brothers say, which I disagree with, that they say, although they're the ones that.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree. He shouldn't have been able to wield the hammer at all. He's not a good person. But
Boom! Drop the mic, Jeremy.
The alternative is even worse. So maybe he didn't know, and he just found out when Tony found out, and he was just like, it's Bucky. Who cares? That's my boy. Like, that's even worse, you know?
Which I have no issue with a person choosing friend loyalty over anything else, right? Like, if that's your character, that's perfectly fine. But that's not who Captain America says he is.
All right. Well,
I don't know, man. I'm with you. Friend loyalty until you start killing people, you know? Like, a couple people like, that's when my loyalty starts to wane just a bit.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I mean, it depends on the character, right? Like,
fair.
Yeah.
Who you kill, you know?
all right. There you go. Jeremy angering nerds all over the country. Our
okay
three listeners are furious.
5, actually.
Our five.
We got a whole hand tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
All 5 of them are just
All
like,
5 of them, yep.
I cannot believe he brought that up. All right. Does
They're
that mean
mad
that you are a fan of Sam Wilson, Captain America more, or you just don't like Captain America in general?
I mean, I never liked the propaganda aspect of Captain America as a character. And I like Chris Evans as an actor. Like, some of the other things he's done, I'm fine with. But I actually haven't finished Falcon Winter Soldier to the point where I've seen the new Captain America. I mean, other than the imposter.
So you haven't seen enough.
Kurt Russell kid.
What was that?
So you haven't seen enough yet.
I've seen up to like the last 2 episodes. I think the last episode I watched was where new Captain America killed the guy.
Okay.
How'd you stop there? Like, that's enough.
Done.
I just wasn't super interested in what happened. Like, I just didn't care enough about the characters or the storyline.
You missed Sam's long lecture about why we all need to be better people.
Yeah, like, I'll go back and watch it at some point. It's just
I will say that I'm 100% on board with Sam Wilson as Captain America. I will say that. Right? A lot of people are like online are like, no, bring back Chris Evans. This sucks. No, let's go with Sam Wilson. I'm good with that. All right, Tony, what's your number 1?
I mean, you can't talk about bad comic book characters without talking about Aquaman.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
Now, again, I was given carte blanche. I was told all comic book characters. And yeah, I mean, just obviously somebody has to mention.
But he can talk to shrimp.
The
I mean, come
guy
on.
who talks to fish. Like,
He rides seahorses.
He rides seahorses. Come on.
who
This guy's great.
cares? And he's a member of the Justice League. Like, how did again, somebody's little brother that they were, or it was like friends with his mom. He really wants to be a part of the Justice League. Okay, fine.
Now that's somebody's big brother who went, oh gosh, I can't believe he's my big
I
brother.
feel like there are better versions of him. Like, some are really bad and some are not as bad.
Well, I mean, he started off pretty goofy, and I think to this day they're trying to make him cooler, and so you get Jason Momoa. Like, that's a first step to make anything cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Even still,
My sign, Jason Momoa, Aquaman, right there.
There it
dope.
is.
Like, he's
Flex,
better
Anthony.
than traditional Aquaman, but that's not saying much, Like, all right, buddy. Most of our problems are happening. I get the Earth is 80% water, but most of our problems are in the other 20%.
There could be some really mean whales.
I'm telling you, dude.
What
Those
kind of drama's
orcas,
going
man.
on down there.
Watch out, the dolphins are going to take over.
Or
That's what's gonna
space. Like, we got problems on the 20%, and then in space, where I'm pretty sure maybe we've discovered a drop of water on Mars. Like, that's it.
Dude.
So I just don't see his value other than looking cool and whipping his hair back. Or I guess he gets music in the Snyder cut for some reason. Okay. like people singing to him. That was a thing. But yeah, Aquaman.
For a very long time.
You gotta go with Aquaman.
He swims around with his own theme song. Just
sorry, Jason. Fun fact: a buddy of mine really is, in true story, like second cousin to Jason Momoa. So I always feel bad when I talk bad about him, but it's not you. It's Aquaman. I'm talking bad about, not Jason. You and I are cool.
Yeah, that's the one picture with a celebrity I wish I had never taken.
The Jason Momoa one?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because I don't need that comparison in my life.
Right?
Yeah.
There's my picture right there with me and Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Up there.
Like you just.
how much do those cost you guys? Like, just out of curiosity.
It depends on who
like
the celebrity is.
75.
That was 70.
So you wait in this line, right, for God knows how many hours, and then you get up there. They take the snap the shot. Do they sign the shot too? Is that how that works? Or do you have to wait in another line to get them to sign it?
That's a separate process.
Holy crap, you guys! I don't want to ever go to a con with you guys.
You know what? I'll be honest.
It's a bunch of waiting.
$70 isn't that bad.
$70 is not bad.
Somebody.
It's not the price. It's not the price that bothers me. It's you spent however much on a hotel room, flight, whatever, however you got there. And then you spend how long did you wait in line for that picture?
It depends on. Yeah, it really
What's
depends
the
on
longest you've ever waited in a line?
Patrick Stewart was the longest.
Patrick Stewart was pretty long, but also Carrie Fisher was the longest.
Give me a time frame.
It had to have been 5 hours.
Oh yeah, for Carrie Fisher, because she was
5 hours.
She was late
To wait. What's the shortest you've ever waited for a picture?
I'm sure I just walked up to.
Oh, okay.
I walked up to.
I just walked up, and Brent Spiner was just standing there with his hand out.
Well, many of the Star Trek actors and actresses.
Okay.
Usually didn't have a line.
Okay.
Right, just walk up there.
And then admittedly the company that handles them, at least at Dragon Con, they have, because time is money, but
Sure.
they have such a really fast system. Like you buy it ahead of time, they tell you when to get there. They're moving people through. So that part's not too bad.
Can you use like a fast pass or order a time slot, or like I'm going to pay for this picture, and you just tell me when to show
slots.
up? You do?
No, that's how it works. Yeah, they have time slots.
Okay.
So
makes sense.
the Fan Expo in Dallas does have a VIP membership, and VIP people can cut longer.
Okay. Well, that wouldn't be so bad.
And then it depends on the caliber of the guests and what kind of picture. Like, have you been to Dragon Con?
I've never. Look, one of my bucket list items is just to go to a con of some. I've never been to one.
Gotcha.
I've always wanted to just experience one, like whether that be Dragon Con, Comic Con. I've always wanted to go to a BlizzCon. That's on my bucket list too. But I've just never been. So
some of them they have where you have to wait in line. Some of them have like Anthony said, you can just walk up and talk to people and they'll sign it or take a sometimes they do selfies.
Oh, okay.
And those, I actually like those better because you usually get to interact with them a little bit more.
Sure.
But those are your usually smaller scale celebrities.
Well, still,
the bigger ones, you do the line like they have.
Okay.
But I'll say that as a big fan of cons, it's not just that, man. There's so much more. Like you can take all that crap out of it.
Okay.
But I'm a big collector of autographs and stuff like that. So that's
just look behind Anthony. He's got his wall of.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. And that's a totally different scene. I've there's that side of it. And then there's people that never get anything autographed or
Sure.
So, but it'd be fun. Maybe don't start with Dragon Con. That'll be my one bit of advice.
Oh, is that your advice? Okay.
So Dragon Con is more of a party con in a lot of ways. Like there's, I think Dragon Con would be a good first one to go to. Just know, there's so much stuff to do at Dragon Con. Like at every other con, it's almost like you're sort of directed towards things, right? Because it's in one location, and like if you're there for a certain celebrity or if you're there for a certain like panel, you kind of know what to do. Everything's in the Coliseum or whatever.
Sure.
Most of the times for cons, but Dragon Con, it's over various hotels, and there's so many like different panels that you can go to. You can just not even like do anything. You just walk around, right, and just see cosplay and everything.
Yeah, like most cons you go to for either the celebrities or you want to look at the thing at DragonCon, you go for the other con guests. Like it's a
Well, okay, so let's make this a
Yes.
priority list for 2022. Whenever y'all go to your 2022 con, let me know. I'll buy a ticket. You know, I'll pitch in on rooms or
I
whatever.
mean, we're gonna go every year, so it's
Yeah,
like,
just let me. Yeah, just keep me in the back of your mind. I wouldn't mind tagging along.
All right, excellent. All right. So that
We can stream it. It'll be an episode. We'll just walk around. I'll have a hat with a GoPro on it. Let's go for it.
That would be interesting. Would that get views on Twitch if you just streamed with a GoPro?
Sure, why not?
All right, there we
People
go.
bathe in hot tubs. That gets views all the time.
Sure, right. Just,
So
we have a bathtub in the room, Jeremy. There you go.
Let's do it.
Get some suds.
Yep.
All right,
Bathe
so
in the Dragon
that was
This is getting weird, guys. I was here to talk about comic book characters.
All right,
It's
that's
Aquaman in the tub.
Rest of his Aquaman. All right, so let's go ahead and get to our last.
We got a little bit of trivia. Everybody loves trivia, baby. Everybody.
All right, here we go.
All right, I got 3 goodies.
Wait, what are we doing? Are we like
We got some
writing it down? Are we
Yeah,
buzzing
go ahead
in?
and grab you
Got it. All right.
a piece of paper or a note, a post-it note or something.
Because sometimes you need to make lists.
Yeah, this will be a list based. So what I'm going to do is I will give you a how many of blank can you name? Whoever can say, well, I can name X amount. Whoever has the most of that number will prove it. And if you get it correct, then you win the round. So that will be our premise there. All right, let's get some pumpy music going on in the background for our listeners. All right, guys. We'll start with video games. How many iconic, and they've got to be like super iconic, quotes can you name from any video game? Like super iconic quotes.
Has to be directly from the game, not like a TV adaptation.
Correct. Yeah, it's got to be from the game. Give me the game, give me the quote.
This is gonna be tough because. Okay.
You got this. You got this, guys. I believe.
Are we
in you.
saying stuff that's exclusive to the game?
Wait, exclusive to the.
The game is not referencing popular culture.
Yeah,
It has-
specific to the game itself. Yeah. I'll give you another couple of seconds to think about it.
10 minutes.
All right, we'll start with 2. Who can name 2? 2 quotes.
I have
Okay.
3.
You have 3 quotes. Does anybody have 4 quotes?
I do have 4.
Anthony has 4 quotes.
Can they be from the same game?
If you can double it up with that as that iconic, then yeah, sure. But I'm going to be the iconic judge, okay?
Okay.
So what if you haven't played the games?
Then I'll go to the panel.
Then they're not that
Then we'll go to the
iconic,
panel.
like-
Then they're not that iconic.
Oh no!
I'm the video game guy. Come on. I only play the good games, Jeremy. Come on.
Oh.
So if you reference Madden, it's not going to happen, okay? 1st and 10, Cowboys. No, that is not an iconic quote.
Gotta watch the snap.
I have 4.
Ooh,
4.
ooh.
Okay.
No, I have 5.
Oh, Tony's got 5. The 5
I have
piece
6.
all day. Here we go.
I have 6. Is that a quote? Is that a quote?
6. Okay. So Anthony now has 6. But they appear questionable. He's looking around his room, hoping he can find another quote on the wall somewhere.
That's not going to help.
Some of this may be questionable.
Okay, well, Anthony says 6. Does anybody have 7?
Nah.
All right, Tony's throwing in the towel. Jeremy.
Yeah, just do it.
All right,
feeling
let's
Anthony's
hear the
gonna
6
cheat.
that you have, Anthony, and we will be. First, I want to know the game, and then I want to hear the quote.
He's smiling,
Actually,
so he knows these are not right.
I don't know the game.
Oh, come on!
just
You
feel
gotta have
close.
them both. You gotta have them both.
I totally forgot this was the first one I wrote. So all your base will belong to us, right? That is
Okay.
that is like an iconic.
It's not a quote.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
it's on an intro screen.
No, it's a quote in the game.
Yeah,
That's
the
what it comes from.
character in the game is saying it, but that's more of a meme. That's
Yeah,
not,
I thought it was on the intro screen.
It is. It is. Excuse me. It is on the intro screen.
Yeah.
and that's the when the game got translated, that's how it got flipped over.
Right.
All right. What else do you have? Let's hear what else you have.
It's a me, Mario. Right.
Sure, I'll give you that one. Okay.
That's the first one I put.
Finish him.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Get over here.
Okay, Scorpion. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
All right. Fatality.
Oh my god.
No, we're not going to give you that one. You can't just pick Mortal Kombat and go for it.
And then the princess is in another castle.
I'll give you that one. That was pretty iconic. Okay, so I'm going to give you what, 3 of those? Was that?
Wait, hold on. Wait, which one are you giving?
I'm
me?
giving you Get Over Here. I'm giving you Finish Him, and the princess is in another castle. I'll give you that. Oh, and it's a me Mario. So you got 4.
Okay, I got
I thought he was just gonna start naming Sonya Blade,
Fight. Come on.
Liu Kang. Okay,
All right, let's hear
man.
what Tony. Let's hear what Tony's got.
I started with "It's a Me, Mario."
Okay.
I have "The Cake Is a Lie" from Portal.
Beautiful. I was hoping somebody would
have-
mention Portal. All right.
Snake.
Yes, Metal Gear Solid. Fantastic. Keep going.
Toss a coin to your Witcher.
Oh, okay.
That's
And
not
then-
from the.
It is from the
is
game.
it?
It is in the game as well.
And then I wrapped up with "Boom Shakalaka" from NBA
From
Jam.
NBA Jam. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, okay. I would have also accepted. He's on fire.
That's actually real.
That would have been better. Yeah, that would have been a good one.
That would have been better, honestly.
My wife is telling us that we're too loud. By us, she means me.
Uh-oh.
I'm getting really excited about this.
I apologize. I brought up
it's all
NBA
Tony's
Jam.
fault. All right, Jeremy, what you got?
So I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store in the Citadel.
Okay.
Took an arrow to the knee.
Oh yes.
What's that from?
Skyrim.
That is from Skyrim. Yeah. Okay.
Totally.
I was like, where have I heard
Totally.
that? Okay.
The princess has been kidnapped,
Okay.
and then war never changes.
Oh, that's beautiful Fallout. Okay. Yep. Good job. Out of all of those, I gotta give it to Tony on this one. Tony, you win the round, bud.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
First thing I thought was "Excuse me, princess," but that's from the cartoon.
That's good. Oh, that was a good question. I hate to have to mark that one off. We may come back to that,
That was a
one later.
fun one, man. I've never heard that question in like anything.
All right. More video games. These may actually be going to be all video games just because it's my game and I'll ask whatever I want.
Sure.
Here we go. How many games can you name that were based on literature? They were based on literature. How many games, video games, came out of literature?
Are we counting comic books as literature?
I don't know. That's a stretch. I'd say no. That's a stretch.
I know many comic scholars that would.
You can't be like,
very
all
angry
the
with-
X-Men games, or oh, look, all the Marvel versus DC. Yeah, no. Let's not do that.
Based on literature.
I know of one right off the top of my head. I could probably think of a few more. If anybody, look, okay, if
This
anybody
got
gets the
unfun
one
quick.
that I'm thinking about, you'll immediately win the round. Because I don't
Madden.
think anybody's going to guess it.
It was Madden.
It's Madden. It's Madden.
Madden 2000.
John Madden's biography. All right, who has 2? Does anybody have 2 right now?
So this one, I have one. Perhaps.
Perhaps one.
I'm with you on that. Perhaps one.
Yeah, I've got one.
No one has two.
I feel like you're shaming us.
So does everybody have at least one?
I think so.
Perhaps.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll judge on who has the best one. All right. We're gonna start with Tony this time, since he won
I
the
wrote
last round.
down Little Nemo. I think Little Nemo was based on a character from 2000 Leagues Under the Sea. I didn't want to Google it.
I'll Google it. Hang on.
That was my.
There is a Nemo, like an early comic called like Nemo, or it has a character called Nemo.
I mean, there is Captain Nemo.
I guess
Literature.
Yes, you get it. That is correct. Okay. Jeremy.
I said The Last Express being based on Murder on the Orient Express.
Ooh, okay. That's probably true that you said that. I don't know if it's based on, we're just going to go with it.
I mean, inspired by.
It's probably inspired by, so I'll give you that. All right, Anthony, what you got?
God of War, because it's inspired by Greek mythology.
It's not literature.
It's the
It would be more of a stretch to say Assassin's Creed Odyssey based on the Odyssey. That would have been more correct, but no. Okay, so the one I was thinking of was BioShock, because it was actually based on, and I know this for a fact, it was based off of Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand.
Oh, you're right. You are.
wow.
Is the story actually supposed to follow that? Or
No. The story does not, but the utopian
like
society
the guy,
does. Yeah, the guy. Yeah,
the guy was supposed to be a Rand fanatic.
Yep. I don't know who to give. No, I'm not giving that one to Anthony. That's for sure. So we'll give it up to Jeremy. Jeremy gets
fair.
one.
How dare you?
You're
How
not
dare you?
You're not getting that one, bro. All right, last one. Now, if you get this one, we'll have to have a tiebreaker, Anthony.
Okay.
And the tiebreaker won't be a video game question, but here's the video game question. Name video games in which a pig, an oink oink pig, plays a role. Don't worry, I thought in advance, and I have a list of games right here in front of me where a pig plays a role.
Pig plays a role.
A pig. Pig.
What video games are you playing?
The question is, actually, you're supposed to know the answer to that, not me. Just plays a role. Doesn't have to be a main role.
Does Charlotte's Web have a video game? Charlotte?
No. No, it does not have a video game. Not that I'm aware of, anyway.
Babe.
A couple of these, you're going to be really mad at yourself if you don't get them. Because you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. If you played them. I mean, obviously, you would know. All right, give you a few more seconds. Think about it. All right, Anthony. Bigger, stronger, faster. Come on, you got to live up to your shirt, bro.
There's pigs in Minecraft. That's all I have.
We'll start with 2. Who has 2 games? To which, my goodness. Oh, Tony has 2.
All right, here we go.
Is that it? Nobody has 3?
I don't have one.
Gosh. All right. Just any role at all. Okay. All right, Tony, what you got, bro?
So, ironically enough, I'm a fan of pigs. I like pigs, and so I perked up. You're like, pigs? Oh, so I have two and a like shady one.
Okay.
But the 2 I do know as a fact are Angry Bird
Correct.
as pigs,
Yep.
and Cuphead has a pig.
Cuphead does have a pig. You're absolutely
And my
correct.
potential was, I know there's a Looney Tunes game out there somewhere.
Yep, there is. I'll name just some of the ones you'll probably know. The Pig Cops and Duke Nukem. If you remember Duke Nukem, had
son
Pig
of a-
Cops.
They are big cops. I was gonna make a joke like that. I was like, "Is there like a police officer game?" But I
There's
didn't
a
know
game
if that was
somewhere.
too,
Yeah.
too controversial.
If you ever played Diddy Kong Racing back in the day, Whiz Pig was one of the characters. Midbus was a pig in Bowser's Inside Story. Hog Miser in Disgaea, if you ever played Disgaea. And then, of course, King Pig, Angry Birds was also something iconic there. So, those
Yeah,
are
I feel
some of the
okay about
ones.
myself. I never played.
But I mean,
either.
I would accepted Stardew Valley. You know, I mean, there's pigs in Stardew Valley. You know, any farming game with pigs.
Is there a pig in what's the one right now? The hot one. You build everything. Jeez. Yeah, that game.
That game
one.
with the stuff and the pigs in it. Yeah, that comes. Yeah, there's pigs in there.
Now that's gonna bug me.
But yeah,
All right, there you go.
there you
That
go.
concludes
There
our
you have it. Tony wins the game, takes all the marbles and the
Congratulations.
lifetime supply of bacon, ironically, sent to you by Anthony himself. I think he's going to cook it up in his backyard on his grill.
Bet that was worth it.
Yeah,
That
just
was
for
worth
that.
the
So
time
expect
either way.
that in the mail for any time between 2 to 6 years from now.
So keep an eye out.
Sounds very delicious. All right, that concludes our show. Worst comic book characters of all time. Tony, it's been great having you on.
Man, it's always fun. Thank you so much for having me. Again, wherever you listen to this show, you can find Tony P. Oddcast.
All right, excellent. Definitely check that out. That concludes our show. I'm Anthony Denar, Acidtrain, Jeremy, Tony P. Henderson. Goodbye, everybody.
See y'all at Dragon Con.
Mm-hmm.